Hey, hello and welcome to the Hutchinson County podcast. Today is June the 13th, 2025. My guest today is Monica Blakemore. Today's episode is brought to you by the High Plains Observer, where community news comes first, and added this week, the Borger News Herald, proudly reporting on life in our corner of Texas since 1926. Monica, thank you for the time.
Thank you so much, Jason.
Oh,
I am honored.
you're quite welcome. We'll go ahead and get started here. Let's do your background from high school to now.
Okay, I graduated from Boyer High School in 1995. My years,
Your
I
high school,
graduated
yes.
from Borger High School in 1995, where I participated as I was a cheerleader for a year, and I ran track. That was my sport of choice, and um, that's where I dedicated my time to.
Very good. Well, I'll ask you, who were some of your biggest influences growing up?
Growing up, Coach Webb was one of my, especially during high school. Coach Schneider was one coach that saw her coaching and through different sports, and she definitely was inspiring to me. And Coach Webb took me in and kind of helped me build up some skills and everything, and was able to flourish up under him. And um, some of the locals growing up who would have been like Muriel Brown, great athlete, Marva Brown, and Donna Johnson. Those were definitely, growing up in Borger, were very high inspirations to me.
You just mentioned the two legends right there, Coach Snyder. She actually lost in the state finals here this past year at Lubbock, Monterey. And Coach Webb, of course, they named the track after him, got to know him, everything. Two legends right there, and two good role models. I can agree with you on that one.
Oh yes, they were phenomenal. Um, they had a they had skills and knowledge, but they had a passion for what they were doing and for your kids, and it just it just drew me in from an early age. Honestly, they were ones that was just like I listened to, and I was like, I want to go under them. Hey, I want to. I was always pushing myself to because I wanted them to be my coaches, you know, and listening to the things that that was needed to be done to be successful, and to be able to do some things. I didn't go as far as I wanted to. But I did the best that I could and everything, and I'm happy with that. And I think that that's one thing they could say is I definitely did try to uh, to give them all when they asked for me, and I think that's really anybody who was a student up under them. They wanted to. I mean, when they spoke, you wanted to listen. When they asked you to do this, you wanted to do it, and you wanted to do the best. So they are some legends names that will live forever. And I think that I hope that there's other people that continue the legacy that they have laid down for us to follow. Because there's some great ones. Even Coach Moreland. I mean, he was the boys' coach in basketball, but he's a phenomenal coach.
Oh,
So those are some sports legends that are definitely coming right from Borger.
yes, I didn't go to school at Borger, but I have heard them three names you just mentioned. Well, we'll
Oh
go
yeah.
to the next question. What was there a moment in your life that shaped your path or purpose?
Yes, it was. So many people know that I didn't have a after high school. I didn't have a really solid foundation of what direction that I wanted to go in life, and I had some obstacles. I had children at a young age, starting, of course, my freshman year in high school. I lost my son. That began the change of how I view things, for some hurt and things like that, and not wanting other people's to go through things, like, for instance, we have teen pregnancies and things that girls go through, and as well as infant loss. And then later on, it's no secret to anyone. I don't shy from telling the story. Yes, I am a recovering addict as well. And those right there were some things that led to my passion, and refining, connecting with God and building that relationship with Him has really been, it's been growing, and it's been very joyful, being able to do that. Someone has always got to, has a story to tell that can help someone. And the best thing is reconnecting with God that was able to step into the purpose.
Very good. Yes, that substance abuse, that's definitely a tough one to break. And actually, you probably are in a majority when you talk about that subject. A lot of people in Hutchinson County have had that issue, me included. So glad we could come out on the other side, better people for it.
Yes, there's no. Some people feel that there's no way out or don't know how to get out, and the ones that of us that has made it out, it's one thing that we learn, is to never forget where you come from, and always to help someone else, because when you're helping someone else out of their situation, you're also helping yourself continue to stay strong and remember your tools that you're taught, whether it be spiritual, um, maybe it be, with a counselor, or it could be just the 12 steps. Some people use all of them. But whatever it is, it helps other people and yourself stay grounded and never have to go back and turn back to those ways, and that led you back into the addiction. So I am really an advocate for, um, helping people to stand up and face and say, hey, I need help. It's okay. And it's okay for us to be able to say, hey, my brother, my sister, I've been there. I got you. I can help you. Let me lead you to, you know, um, what is it? Christy Sullivan has a great recovery program, that she's doing at Celebration Church. And that's one thing that, so many times people have kept it hush hush about NA or AA, when we actually ought to be very vocal about it, as she is starting to do. And I like to encourage people, especially in my home county and my hometown, because it's an epidemic that's taken us, and our children through some hard times in our county. And there's resources. There's really good resources. We just need to make sure it's out more so people can know of it.
I actually had her on one of my episodes on Facebook. The Facebook come out and deleted all the lives, so it disappeared. But a very good guest she was, and had a good story, and got a lot of positive feedback on her and what she's doing. And when she started that, and I actually got her on, and before her first meeting, maybe, or I think it was between the first and the second, and at that time the class doubled, then it tripled, and now see she's everywhere. She's doing good things. You're doing good things. Now I had some questions I had pulled from Chat GBT. I'm not going to use them. I'm actually going to go back in the time machine. We'll go back to when we talked, when the wildfire started, and you seen chaos. Kind of start from the beginning and tell us what you did on that, because there was a lot of chaos during that time.
It was, that was a hard time. That was really hard, because that's home, you know? And you saw a lot of people wanting to get in to assist and didn't know how. And of course, you have the government, and then you have other people that are willing, but how do you get these resources through there without going through it? There's no time. We have lives that need to get back to living, you know. People couldn't afford to have this lack of anything, and it could have been a very tragic thing. Basically, that was the dilemma, was how to get it and where people could go, and losing everything. They didn't have proof of things, and hey, what can we do? Well, I saw that on Facebook, and I became my heart, blew up. It was like, what can I do? So I was seeing everything, and it's like, hey, we just need to connect these dots. The resources are here. So I was able to get in with Rancher Navy. They hooked me up with them, and some other groups that were formed, where truckers come in. We're trying to bring supplies in for the community, or what was needed. We communicate, hey, I need this, is what we need. So we lined up truckers to be able to have drop sites to go to, or actually locations, could be someone's property, and that's what one main thing we focused on. The other was the immediate needs for the people. Kudos and wonderful that we were getting the things out to stop the fire and continue to help, like the firemen, be able to stay hydrated and have strength and be able to go on. But we also need to provide some resources for those who instantly lost everything. And we took donations, connected with some businesses, and lined up where people could get some immediate needs. For instance, shoes. We had a business here in Amarillo that donated, and they anybody who came up, they got 3 to 4 pairs of shoes. Of course, some people may not have needed any, but they didn't lose everything in a fire, but they definitely didn't close that off into offering that to the community. And that was wonderful. That was a wonderful experience there. We had people that were trying to get things, could only go so far as for bedding and food and sheets and furniture, and had nowhere to go. And I just connected with what's his name? Fairlands Church.
Ooh, I'm not sure. The name I'm coming up with is Shay Menard, but he was out there at Fritch. I know that name. He helped out a lot.
Shay was wonderful with opening up. He shut down his business and went full-blown help for the community, and where truckers could drop off their things, and being able to get other places where we could store the hay for people, running out to locations and taking things out. It was a wonderful collaboration that just came. Everybody just said, hey. No one was really trying to sit here and say, hey, I'm bigwig, this, and that. We were all hands-on and just putting what we could together to make something happen.
And the amazing part on what you did, we won't say where you were working, but you were doing it between your phone calls all day long and late into the evening, early in the morning. So kudos on that, Monica. That was just amazing, and you were still doing your job. You just weren't at home in front of a laptop or a cell phone, basically multitasking, and it was very amazing. And you stepped in at the right time. You calmed where there was chaos. You got everything organized. I'd actually seen one, I think Hartley FFA needed a truck driver to take some hay to Canadian, just all over. And you actually took some calls from basically the whole fire, where it started, all the way to Canadian.
Yes, sir. And thank you for that. It was definitely multitasking. You had to stay calm in the situations, and everything, and look out for everyone. And yes, there wasn't no direct line to communicate. So I needed to step in and be that communication. I saw that was lacking. And hey, I need a driver. And I got on Facebook and said, hey, I need a driver.
I almost took
Can
you
you
up on that. I have
drive?
a Class A CDL, and I think somebody else jumped on it. I was going to actually jump on that because I have a CDL still. I hadn't drove a truck in about 10 years. It's been a scary trip for me, but I'd have made it for sure.
And always, God always, whenever you're doing His work, He always takes care of us. You just have to make sure our hearts are in the right place, and our minds are in the right place, and He'll do the rest. Just stay faithful. So I'll keep that. Hopefully, we don't have a situation, but if ever I come across and need, I definitely will keep you in mind.
Stay away fires for sure. That was a perfect storm. Two fires simultaneously burning two different areas in a big area at that. My mom lived
Yes.
out there. The Rema Road fire got three of her neighbors' house, and I was dealing with that and dealing with her neighbors. And we actually, as a community in Stinnett, everybody kind of took care of each other. That's why Stinnett wasn't out there much or on a lot of these lists because we reached out to these people. And I'll tell some example. My neighbor, he said he wanted a cooler. Next day, there was 7 of them that showed up, and it was
Yes.
just by word of mouth. And took care of our own out there. Nothing that's just, it was so overwhelming. We had fridge. You had stuff coming to Borger. It was a bad time, and I'm glad we were able to get stuff in a timely manner where it needed.
Yes, and I do have to say that Stinnett did a phenomenal job. It really was. It was great to see how everybody was like, "Hey, do you have hey Monica?" Not or just saying I'm just saying my name, but it was, "Hey, do you have? I got this," and "Hey, can you take this there?" Or "Hey, this location has over this, and we don't have anything." They just moved it over. I saw that, and honestly, the whole Hutchinson County fire that was going on, the heart and the love that was spread to each other, it built something. And I don't know if people really realize it. It mended some things that were broken within the. Hey, we may be different views on different things or different ways, but we actually have a heart here that cares for each other. We can actually call on our brothers, our sisters, to lend a hand to each other, and that's the way that it's supposed to be. We have a lot of servant hearts. Biblically, it takes special people like that. And I think that my home county is full of servant hearts, definitely, because we not only shown it other times, but we shined right there. Right, we really shined when it came to it. We pulled together, pulled resources, and it could have been more lives lost. Honestly, it really could have if people would have been selfish. But people were looking out for each other, and I love it. And I loved it.
Yes, very much. Well, I'm going to change subjects on you. I know a while back you were talking to the brother of Darian Brown. Am I correct in that? The missing young man
Yes,
from Amarillo, that's the name?
yes.
Did
His
you
brother
get
is
did
Brandon.
Brandon? Did you ever get to talk to him? I know he put out a video. Was it been 6 or 8 months ago about an update? Did you ever get to talk to him personally?
I did get to speak with him. There was some things that couldn't be because of the ongoing investigation. That's things that started to come out. One thing is, that was not too long ago, and it really had become hush, and we needed to put some more light onto that. And I'm glad that he stepped out and spoke up on Facebook and got it back out because conversations started rolling in people's minds, started, thinking, hey, this, and this, and it's leading to some closure. As I said, I've lost a child. I know what it's like to lose a child. Not a sibling, but to lose someone, a family, as so young they need closure. They really need closure to have that solid peace um, within themselves and to settle their hearts. And sometimes if anyone has that, we have something that can offer to help. That's what's needed. But I can't go into much details because the investigation is continuing and he's still pushing that issue.
He brought it back to the forefront. I actually went and watched it. I think he had way bigger podcasters reaching out to him than I did, and I just didn't even try to reach out to him. And those podcasts are in the Amarillo area and would get more heard. I never did reach out to him. I remember that case back in '98. I actually worked at Affiliated, and we had his flyer all over the warehouse at the time. And looking back all these years, 27 years later, and still a lot of unanswered questions.
Yeah, it's crazy because I'm thinking in '98, I was in college, and it just took me into remembering, like, hey, did I ever come across something? Did I see or hear things? Because coming to Amarillo, and I'm thinking, no, I didn't. And I looked into it more, and more things that were said, and as there's questions, even myself, I was like, no one looked into this part, which later came out that they were looking into it. So, questions that people were asking were valid questions. And I hope that more people will continue to ask questions so that it continues to stay alive. There could be one little clue that can seal it, that someone has. They don't know. But we owe that to humanity. We owe that to the area. We owe that to our brothers and sisters. We help save lives every single day, just from a smile or anything. We never want to turn our backs. And I'm hoping that soon, or they can make that connection and finally close that. So if anyone knows anything, please. Darian's brother, Brandon Thomas, is still on Facebook, and he is still looking for answers. And he's not going to stop until he has closure. And I think the family definitely deserves to have that.
I mean, I learned a lot just by listening to what he talked about. A bunch of that was not in the news. How far along he got. He was seen here, but not seen here. And then the information from that friend of a friend and threw some other names in there. It just made it crazy. It's crazy.
It was very shocking to see that it wasn't put together late that he was seen here. That was never released. If that would have been released sooner, I think other people would have started remembering things sooner. But is it very odd how things turn around? And did you see how the conversation happened to come out? But because this individual they thought was either drunk or high was spitting real life things, no one paid attention. Imagine how many people have heard it before and never paid attention and never said anything. Said anything.
And supposedly a name come up, a prominent figure in Amarillo. I mean, looking at the person, no way, but actually that person owned a news station at one time and a prominent figure. And then as the person aged and got sick and then died, all these accusations come out against them. And it fits the MO. But at the time, pretty much with money being untouchable. And it's very sad. And I hope he gets some answers and this comes forward and something just breaks that, okay, and bust the case wide open. Just wish the best for him and their family. So I'm going to shift gears.
Definitely let them know that.
Yeah, let them know that. We're going to shift gears again. What advice would you give someone who is trying to make a difference in their community?
Just do it.
Just do it.
The first step is to have the mind that that's what you want to do. Then I would definitely pray that God opens doors, lead you to the right place that you want to be able to fly at. Um, with me, I since I went through so many things, honestly, that I never said no to anything. I just wanted to to help out, whether it's Angel Tree or ringing the bell or toy drives or um, raising money for kids, softballs or it didn't really matter. Just where just doing it. Um, Great place to start is right there in your hometown, and that's for anybody. There's so many places that need help. It doesn't have to be a big organization. You can start off with somewhere at church. They can have, their community garage sales, Salvation Army, Panhandle Community Services. You have the senior citizens. You can volunteer to go to the retirement homes and, be able to sing or just talk with them. There's so many things that we control that we can do without having to, get permission or sign all this. Those are things that you have that within power. And when you continually talk about what you like to see, what you want to change, and showing up, God will place those right people in your life. Because I can tell you from experience, I think my very first local was our Easter egg deal we did in Dumas. And the whole community of Dumas, that was for work purpose. But it felt good and it lighted a fire to see those kids smiling and to make a difference. Don't know what difference it made when they got home, but I know it helped somebody. Back to school drives, collecting things, kids who really need this help. You may go buy grab a kid's, school supply list. Hey, I just want to donate this. Then you take it back to your church. Hey, I want to grow. There's no small. There's nothing that's too small. Everything is appreciated. So my thing is, if you have that heart and want to, just do it.
Okay, and the last thing, Monica, if people want to ask where can you be found? Not actually
Everywhere.
physical, but just on social media.
And if not, you can always reach out to anyone locally, and I'm always gearing up to help build someone. There's something else that we need more of is building someone up. There's a generation that's coming up after me that needs to know these things as well.
All right, very good. My last TikTok, I think you've seen it. That video of that music, intro's pretty
Oh,
cool.
I remember. Yes. I can't remember watching too many things back then, but I definitely remember the music. And yes, I love going on there and seeing everyone's TikToks because it's very interesting. You can stuff like in the music, and they can be joined in with something from your childhood. So it makes very interesting videos. I think so.
Yeah, if they don't mute it, their own music, they don't mute it, or Facebook does that. They let you pick music and then they mute it and said you didn't have permission. But that's a story for another time.
Yes.
Well,
Yes, I
Monica,
agree
thank you
with
for
you.
the time, and that's a wrap on this episode. A big thank you to our sponsors, Plains Observer, keeping you connected to community news that matters, and the Bulger News Herald, your trusted source for local journalism in the Panhandle. Until next time, I'm Jason Richardson and Monica Blakemore. We are out of here.
Out.